All right, ladies and gents, it's time for Sketching the Privateer. We're going to get into some of the origins of this great story. And I say great, but I'm quoting other people because I enjoy what I'm writing, but I wouldn't be doing this unless a lot of people had driven me to do it. So you guys kick back, grab your favorite beverage, and for the next hour, we're going to draw on the comic book. We're going to sketch the Privateer. All right, ladies and gents, welcome aboard. It's time for Sketching the Privateer, the show where I show you what I'm doing with the comic book. It's good to see you guys. I hope you're having a good day. I want to give a shout out to Anti-Derivative Jill and her crew. I just left their stream. It's going on right now over on her channel. They're talking about one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And I highly recommend going and watching the replay of it. I was on for the first hour and a half. It's The Hunt for Red October is what they're talking about today. So definitely want to give her a shout out and tell you guys to go check that out whenever you get a chance. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It really is. You know, I could gush on and on about that movie, and that's why I went ahead and got on that stream. But she runs, her streams run pretty long, so you know you get your time well spent though. She does a good job, and thank her again for having me on that stream with her. Of course, the hardest working wrench in the business is here, so we got to recognize him.
Womack, why am I not surprised, you piece of shit?
It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Let's see. He says, before he started putting all the links in, he says, Heidi ho, to all you nerds and nerdettes, like he usually does. And he also asks, is Foxy's birthday today or next week? It's next week. It's the 29th of August. And it's on Friday. But I'm not taking her out until Saturday, because I work on Friday nights. So I got us she's a foodie, guys. She's, you know, when I take her out to dinner for her birthday, it can't be to, you know, Logan's or something like that, or Applebee's. No. We're going to a Brazilian steakhouse. If you've ever eaten at one of these things, from what my boss tells me, who's a big foodie himself, you have according to what he tells me, they've got a buffet style for the sides. Okay. bunch of different sides and stuff, right? And one side is your sides, right? And then the other side is the cold stuff, like the vegetables and like stuff to make your salads with and stuff like that. You get that buffet style, and then you go sit at your table and you got a card, and it's got a red side and a green side. Stop, and go, right? And when you're ready to get served some meat, you put the green side up, and these guys are walking around pushing different kinds of meats around the restaurant, and say they've got a brisket, right? You can get a cut of brisket. When they come by, they ask you want some of this, and that you get a piece of it. Anyway, you can eat as much as you want, but it's expensive. From what I understand, it's going to cost us $100 a plate. But they've got everything, from what I hear, as far as the meats go. So, looking forward to it. Not looking forward to the check, but it's something. I get dressed up. I put the tie on and all that good stuff. I go into James Bond mode when I'm taking my lady out for her birthday. So, it should be fun. But yeah, that's next Friday, and we'll do an ode to the Royal Fox next Friday, I think, on this show. But anyway, we might even work on the one I started on Valentine's Day, which I haven't even touched since I started it, guys. If you watched on Valentine's Day, what I did was I started a drawing that mirrors the first time that MJ and Peter Parker kiss in Spider-Man. I'm going to do that. I started it, but I haven't finished it yet. Maybe we'll do some more work on that. Of the Royal Fox and the Privateer in the same kind of stance, right? But anyway, yeah, next Friday. And there she is confirming. Next Friday. Yes, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Glad you remembered, though, buddy. Glad you remembered. And I actually got the date right this time. It's the 29th. I'm actually learning. I can learn. I screw this up every year. I always say the 28th for some reason. I always say it one day early. I don't know why I do that. But anyway, Vince has put all the stuff in here. Juliet is here as well. It's good to see you. My friends from across the pond, always supporting. I appreciate it so much. I really do. Give me the meat and give it to me raw. That's it, man. That's exactly what's going on there, buddy. No doubt. It should be fun. It should be fun. But anyway, I thought we'd do something a little different today. I'm not going to work on the book today. I'm going to show you some of the origins of the Privateer. What made me decide to tell this story of America's pirate Patriot? What were the beginnings of it? Well, let's see. I swear, I got to keep an eye on the chat, man. Vince says, you are talking to a guy who forgot his own birthday more than once. You forgot your own birthday? How is that possible, bro? How do you forget your own birthday? I mean, I treat mine like it's forgettable. I go to work on my birthday. You know, it's not a big thing for me anymore. You know, I just turned 60 last month. I think, oh yeah, I know what it did. I made, Danny couldn't be on one weekend right around my birthday, if you remember. And I did a birthday, chilling at the club. And by the way, as a matter of fact, I'm glad I've mentioned that because I haven't pushed it enough. But I have to thank every last one of you guys for contributing. My channel hit a milestone here recently. Let me see if I've got it in here already. I'm not sure if I do or not. Let's see. Is it in here? No, but I'll have it in just a second. Look, I hit 600 subs, guys. I'm actually at 604 now, I think. And in appreciation, this Saturday, we got a big day Saturday. We got GeekCon is in town. Let me show you guys that real quick while I send this to myself so I can grab it and put it up. Let's see. Let me hit that and save that. Yeah, I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here today, guys. I screwed up and I put this thing on Twitch. I think I'm live on Twitch right now. Yeah, I am. So definitely not working on the book today, but I've got plenty to talk about. You know, like my one of my favorite wrestlers says, you know,
So, what do you guys want to talk about?
We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today, but most of it's going to be the origins of the privateer. But this weekend, we've got GeekCon. Let me go to their website real quick. It's the local. It's not a comic book convention. It's more exactly what it says it is. It is a geek convention for different stuff, man. It's for instance, Foxy made us some T-shirts. Hang on a second. I got to show you guys this. Let me go big screen real quick while I'm getting this together. She made us some T-shirts. She loves making stuff. She has a sublimation printer. So she made this for us to wear. We're actually, let me see, make sure I got that on the camera. Yeah, there we go. This is the T-shirt she made for me to wear. We're actually getting a picture of, with Leo and Piper, all of us in one shot. It's going to be this Saturday at the Shreveport Convention Center. It actually starts today. I think they open up at 3 today. I think they're open from 3 to 7. And it's just like most of these things, you know. It's got a bunch of vendors and stuff. I think they said over 275 vendors. My cousin Heidi, you guys know I broadcast from Shop Till You Drop a lot. And that's my cousin's show she puts on at the Bossier Civic Center every about 5 times a year. Anyway, she's going to have a booth at this thing. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The bad guy from Terrifier is going to be there. I mean, the list is pretty big that's going to be at this one. Let's go to the people that are going to be there. They've got a menu here, I think. Let's see. Photo ops, lineup, current lineup. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Close. Go away. All right. So they've got the Terrifier guy going to be there for sure. Jason Lee, who I love. My favorite movie with him in it's Dogma. But, you know, My Name is Earl. They're going to have a couple of people from that show on there. Andy Black. David Howard Thornton from Terrifier is going to be there. And the chick from Terrifier, Samantha Scafidi, is going to be there. They're having a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reunion from the 90s. All the guys that were in the turtle suits back in the 90s are going to be there. None of them backed out. They're all going to be there. Right? All the turtles, if you like them. And Shredder. He's going to be there too. Francis Cho. Yep. John Barrowman is going to be there. And guys, I got to tell you, if you've never seen this dude live, his panel, if he's ever at a convention near you, go to his panel. And I would highly recommend following him on Instagram as well. This guy is hilarious. Of course, his panel this year is titled Into the Whoniverse. He's been on Doctor Who. But that character you see him as right there, that's when I first was exposed to him, when he was on Arrow. I loved Arrow. I think I've told you guys that several times. Love Arrow, and he was Merlin on Arrow. And my wife and I went and saw him, God, must have been about 4 or 5 years ago, at this same convention, and he did a panel, and he's just hilarious. The guy is something else, man. Let's see. Vince says, you were talking to it. Oh, yeah, that's right. I already read that one. Yeah. You put the link up for it already. Let's see. Yes, 22nd through the 24th, Vince. You're absolutely correct. Starts today, ends Sunday, but we're definitely going to his panel. It's at 4:00 tomorrow. So love that guy. I don't know who this is. There's a few of these people I don't know, but I'm on freeze frame on it. You guys can talk about it in the chat if you want to. But the main reason why I want to be there is to see Piper and Leo. And like I said, we're getting Jeremy London's cool too. I've seen him in a few things. And of course, you got You're Killing Me Smalls guy is going to be there. Yeah. But Piper, Holly Marie Combs, she was my favorite chick on Charmed. My wife turned me on to Charmed years ago. It was her favorite show. I bought her the whole box set of the whole series and everything. And they were doing like a Charmed reunion, and Rose McGowan was supposed to be there too, but she backed out. But Holly Marie Combs is going to be there, and Brian Krause, who plays Leo, and we're actually going to get to be in a photo, all four of us together. So that's going to be, we've already booked it, so that should be pretty cool. And Dorian Gregory, the guy that played the cop in that show early on, is going to be there too. So that's GeekCon. Of course, they're going to have a cosplay contest and all of that stuff, you know. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to it every year. For the first time in a long time, they don't have anybody from The Walking Dead. Rhonda's a huge Walking Dead fan. She has a shrine over here to The Walking Dead. I think I've shown it to you guys before. All the people she's met. The first one we got for that wall was Michonne's twins. The two guys that played the twins, not the actually actors that she, you know, that play the characters in the movie, but or TV show, but the zombie actors, the guys that played the zombies that she had on chains. That was the first picture she ever took, and she's met Otis, she's met Father Gabriel, Aaron, the guy from Alexandria. Of course, her pride and joy is we went to the Dallas Fan Expo, and she got to meet Norman Reedus. Right, she's one of those Daryl Dies We Riot girls, and she's got a picture of her and Norman Reedus up there. So yeah, that's actually her home screen on her phone, you know. Yeah, definitely. Look, if he was single, I'd be in trouble. I'd probably get divorced. But you know, hey, that's okay. As long as she's happy, that's all that matters. But he's a sweetheart of a guy too. She says she named her dog after this guy, and he actually mentioned it on an interview show at one point. But anyway, we look forward to it every year. I really wish I had Friday off because they're going to be at the Robinson Film Center with the Terrifier guy tonight. Oh gosh, really? I get Kick working and I get spam. Let me get rid of that real quick, guys. Let's see. Yeah. All right. And that one too. Sorry, guys. I got to take care of this real quick. Okay, so that's done. All right, but anyway, yeah, looking forward to GeekCon. Should be a lot of fun. And like I said, the creme de la creme, we get to take a picture with my favorite person from Charmed, Piper, and she gets to hang out with Leo. So that's going to be a lot of fun, man. Looking forward to that. But anyway, let's get to what we were going to focus on today on the show, shall we? We've had enough lead in here. The roots of the privateer. Well, I got to tell you, they start a long time ago. I've been intrigued with the Revolutionary War ever since I saw this particular show on Disney's I can't remember the name of the show. I think it was Disney's World of Color when I was a kid. I'm telling you, it was like 69. I was like 4 years old, 75 years. You know, in 70 I was 5. It was right around then that I saw for the first time a show called The Scarecrow of Romney Marsh. And let's see, here we go. I'll play a little bit of the theme to it, but I don't want to play much because even though it's a great song, I don't want to get hit for this. So check this out real quick. This is the lead-in to The Scarecrow of Romney Marsh.
Scarecrow, Scarecrow, the soldiers of the king feared his name.
You can look it up yourself. I don't want to get hit for the music, but the Scarecrow is what intrigued me about the Revolutionary War, because this guy, the story is about a pirate, of all things. And the way the story goes is, after years of being a pirate on the high seas, he wanted to retire, and he went to a town on the southern coast of England called Romney Marsh. He went there, and he come to find out he went. He didn't want people to know his past, so he ended up becoming the parish preacher for this place, right? And during his time as preacher, he came to find out that most of his congregation was running rum. Okay, they were smugglers, and they weren't very good at it. After a few of them got in trouble, he said, "Oh my God, I guess I got to help these people out." And he donned a mask. He may be the first superhero, boys and girls. They may have been. Anyway, the Scarecrow of Romney Marsh gave the British fits because he, like I said, he was a pirate for years. And what a lot of people forget is King George, at the time of the Revolution, he was trying to fill his coffers because he was an impending war with France. Okay, so he wasn't just levying all kinds of taxes on the colonies. He was also leveling taxes on his own people. He was taxing the hell out of them. And the people on the, down in Romney Marsh, they were poor people, and they were being hit hard by these taxes, right? And so that's how the people had to friggin' make a living, was to make it illegit, right? They were running rum. So I saw this show, and it's a fantastic show. I highly recommend it. It's hard to find. I think the last time they had it for sale, it was a DVD set for their classic set. Disney puts out limited editions of stuff. At least they used to, for years. Let me go to the IMDb page for this real quick so you can see who was in it. Because if you were... I know you guys have seen... what's our guy that uses... The Prisoner has his avatar. I can't remember who that streamer is, but they're always... I always see him in the chats and stuff. Hang on one second. Let's see. Scarecrow of Romney Marsh. Let's see. We hit that. See what we find. There it is. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Yeah, there's 3 different stories. This was actually, that's the way I saw it on Disney, was in 3 parts. They actually edited it down and released it as a movie in Great Britain. I think it was called Dr. Sin alias the Scarecrow, the film. But, yeah, The Magical World of Disney is what it was on. Season 10, Episode 11. Scarecrow of Romney Marsh, and Patrick McGowan, as you can see, was the star. He was the prisoner on TV forever, but he was the star of this one. As a matter of fact, a lot of people have seen this guy in a lot of stuff. I don't remember much with him in it, other than I remember seeing him in Braveheart, saying, "Oh my God, it's the Scarecrow!" I loved this character growing up, and basically, he didn't kill anybody. But he made sure that his people stayed out of trouble by creating this persona of the Scarecrow. And people feared him and everything, but he basically did it to protect his parishioners from jail when they were doing their smuggling. He took over their smuggling operation just to make sure they did it right and didn't get caught. Never even heard of it. Yeah, I'm an old man, buddy. I'm telling you, this was from way back in the day. It came on the first time in 1964, but back then they used to show a lot of that. I wasn't even born when it was shown the first time. But Sunday nights, Magical World at Disney was on, and I saw it on a replay years later. And I loved it. I thought it was so great, man. And Patrick McGowan was in it, man. It was a great show. And a lot of the stuff that you see in this show, you're going to see in the Privateer comic book. For instance, one of the things that directly comes straight from that show is during one of the episodes of it, there is a naval press gang going through the villages, pressing men into service. And when we say pressing them into service, basically throwing them into slavery in the Navy. If they were a fighting man, age, say, 15 to 40, they bludgeon them, throw a bag over the head, and basically put shackles on them and drag them off to the Navy to work the ships. Okay? They were called naval press gangs, and they were enlisted. None of them were officers. And, they just roamed the countryside and scooped up dudes that were fighting age to go put them in the Navy. Like I said, George was getting ready for war with England, or excuse me, war with France. So, he was doing whatever he could to build his forces, right? Through taxation, through out and out just kidnapping people and putting them in. But it never was the, it's always the people on the low end of the social scale that are put through this. And the privateer loses his father that way in his origin story. I directly put that in there. One of my aims with the privateer is to show you some history. Maybe it's a fictional story, but for instance, he's from Marquis, Maine, which I found out through my research was the site of the first naval battle in the U.S. And I thought that was cool as shit because my mother's from Maine. So, I thought that was really cool. But anyway, that was the beginnings of it. That's what enthralled me with the American Revolution. I learned a lot about that. And my dad's from Boston, and anybody from Boston understands that really the revolution started there. A guy named Sam Jackson started an underground market and all kinds of stuff. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend Sons of Liberty. It's a great History Channel miniseries that did. It was 3 episodes like this. 3 episodes, 2 hours apiece, and it was phenomenal. It's all about Sam Adams and his guys, and how John Hancock, who was a businessman, the guy that wrote his name as big as he could so King George could see his name without his glasses on the Declaration of Independence. It's about how those two hooked up and started an underground market in Boston, and the things that made them do that. They show everything. They show the massacre. They show the Tea Party. I mean, let there be no doubt. At first, the rest of the colonies were like, "That's Boston's business," but they came to, a couple of years in, they come to find out, yeah, it's going to happen to all of us if you guys don't get involved. So I've always been intrigued with that part of history. Well, fast forward to 2003. I'm watching. Let's see. He just put the link up for the Facebook page. I'm fixing to show some of that. But fast forward to 2003, I'm watching what to this day is my favorite television show ever. Television drama, that is. I mean, my favorite comedy is Soap. Okay, that always will be my favorite comedy. But my favorite drama has been and always will be The West Wing. I love this movie, or this TV show. My wife and I have watched it a couple of times through, and we'll watch it through again at some point. It's about a liberal White House, yes. But what I love about it is, it's very accurate about the way Washington works, at least back then, anyway, when we still had some civil discourse. And something I hope we get back to one day, really. But, they don't portray the Republicans in it as evil people. You just have to see it. I've had discussions with Gary about this. He says he's always liked Aaron Sorkin, but he knew it was a liberal White House. He really didn't want to watch it because he thought it was going to piss him off. And I'm like, no, it's a little smarter than that, And it's a very good show. Highly recommend it. But anyway, there was an episode in 2003. This started in 1999, but in 2003, 4 years in, episode 18 is called The Privateers. And it has to do with the fact that the First Lady's relative is a privateer, and she keeps defending him not because everybody's calling him a pirate. Okay, and this intrigued me. I'll show you a little clip from the show. Hang on one second. I got to switch inputs here, so it'll take me just a second to do, but it's so I don't get echo all over the place. And plus, it's good practice for me to do this. Learn how to do this stuff on the fly. But I want to show you a little snippet from the show and what intrigued me about it.
Okay, well, I was just going to ask you if by any chance the First Lady is a distant relative of a pirate.
Somebody call?
Boston Globe?
CJ, talk to CJ. He got called by the Globe about Captain Feathersworth.
All right. So this is a relative of the First Lady now, okay? I'm going to zip forward a little bit to the conversation they're having, okay? Here you go.
Ancestor is Thomas Broom Weathergill, a pirate?
He wasn't a pirate. He was a privateer.
He was a professional pirate.
Yeah, but he worked for us, and he was hired by the fathers of the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Okay, should we tell that to the DAR lady?
It's not our job to tell things to Mrs. Marblehay.
Coatsworth Hay, and I couldn't agree more, but she's organizing a boycott of the White House reception for the DAR, and that's why the Boston Globe was calling.
He was a privateer. He wasn't a pirate.
Right. Also, it was a couple of 100 years ago, wasn't it?
All right, I think it's time for a visit to the First Lady.
You see the problem, right? There's a big difference between a privateer and a pirate, and somebody's trying to make the case that he was a pirate. Well, the privateers were pirates. Some of them were, okay? I did a bunch of research on it, and I wish I should have pulled it up again. But I'm not going to go through all that. I'm just going to let you know, if you do your own research and take a look at what the privateers contributed to the fight against the British colonies. What the colonies did was, and the reason why C.J. Craig, who is fantastic in that the character C.J. Craig, I can't remember the actress's name that plays her, but the reason why she said the fathers of the revolution hired them, well, this is how they did it. They issued what they call letters of marque, and what these letters allowed them to do. Hang on a second. Let's see what Vince is saying. Yes, was just typing that privateers were basically pirates with a license. Exactly. These letters of marque were the license that Vince is talking about. Okay. What they do is they issue them a letter of marque, and it gave them the right to go out and take action for the colonies against the British, with a caveat. Okay. They could fight for us, and anything that they found on the ships they could keep, right? Which is what pirates do anyway. They collect booty, right? Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the catch. They had to help out anything they found that could help the war effort: gunpowder, munitions, medical supplies. These things had to be brought back to the colonies. Okay. And these pirates, exactly, booty, yeah. These pirates that had been getting hassled by the British on the open seas for years were like, what? You're okay if we go do it? Well, yeah, okay. Because we didn't have a navy, guys. We were British colonies. We didn't have anybody fighting for us but the merchant marines and privateers during those times, because we didn't have a navy. The first naval battle of the American Revolution took place in Marquis, Maine. I can't remember the date. Look it up. But it happened because the British, like I said, they pressed people into service. They basically kidnapped people. What they were doing was, when they'd bring supplies in, they'd press people into service to guard the boats while they'd go into town and party and shit, right? Well, they got a little sick of this, and what happened with news of what was going on in Boston and everything, one of these times when one of these supply boats showed up, when they were done unloading and were leaving, civilians armed with just a few muskets, but mostly pitchforks and using planks of wood as friggin' armor, went out after the boat and took it. because they were tired of it. And they got tired of it, and they took the boat. Let's see. Vince says, and the British Navy back then was huge. Yes, it was monstrous. Yeah. But some of these guys, some of these pirates went all the way to the shores of Great Britain to fight them. They were all in. They're like, yeah, they've been hassling us for years. Let's go do this. He also says, remember, they held 1/4 of the world under their heel. Yes, they did. They did. Yeah, like I said, the only guys we had fighting for us during that time in the Atlantic were the pirates and the merchant marines, until the French showed up to help us a couple of years in. Took several years for them to even get there. So anyway, so once I saw this and I did some research and found out what this was all about, I said, man, that would make a really cool story about a guy that, didn't choose to become a pirate. The way the privateer ends up becoming a pirate is he went out on, he stowed away on a pirate ship, okay? Because what happened was his dad was taken from him by a naval press gang, okay, at the age of 12. And he was upset about it, and he became the head of the family way too soon. Him and his mother. It was just him and his mother on the family farm there in Maine, and they have to go to town every once in a while and get supplies, right? They're in Marquise, right? And he heard this guy railing against the British. He'd never heard anybody do that in public before, right? So he was intrigued, and he followed this guy and saw the Seahawk. His I think it was, I've got it in the you'd have to look at the origin story I've got on Facebook to know for sure. I did the research though. I think I want to say it's a 15 or an 18 gun man of war. It's a huge ship. Okay. And he sees it for the first time, and that's when he decides, hey, he goes home, he gets some stuff together, leaves his mother a note and says, look, I'm going to go find Dad. And he doesn't go out to become a pirate. He stows away to try and find his father and learn the ways of the sea so he can find his father, because he knows his father's in the Royal Navy, right? Let's see. All right. Big fan of the show is here. He showed up. No, his name is not Fuck Headquarters 2005. No, this is his name.
There are some who call me Tim.
Tim, it's good to see you, man. Always good to see you. Let's see. A huge shit. What are you talking about, bro? What the hell did I miss in there? No, a huge ship, not shit. What's wrong with you? Yo ho ho, a pirate's life for me. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, he didn't want to become a pirate. But this is how this was a way he could learn the ways of the sea, and he ends up. Anyway, that's part of my story. I incorporated that from the Scarecrow of Romney Marsh, right? So, back to work I go. Okay, well, it was good to see you, Tim. You just wanted to see your video get played. Is that it? It's good to see you, man. Be good. But anyway, that's how I incorporated it into the story. And he, of course, becomes the first mate because he's very loyal to Greybeard, and he eventually finds his father. They cross swords during a battle when they're taking a British ship, and he recognizes him, and his father recognizes him and takes off his uniform tunic and helps him fight his way across the ship, and helps him take the ship, and they go home and to the mother and everything. It's happy ending. Blah blah blah. This was the story I wrote. It was basically a story about a guy that becomes a pirate to find his father. That's what it was about. That was his hero's journey, right? Well, it was basically a treatment. I was going to write a script of it, and I put it away for a long time until a video game came out called DC Universe Online. You guys know I love DC Universe Online. It's my favorite video game of all time. Why? Because you can create your own superhero in it. And if you guys have never played this game, it is a bunch of fun. This game came out in 2011, and it was just, I didn't buy it at first. I had, is this, what is it doing? It just downloaded? I don't want to download it. I just want to look at the picture. View image. Just open it up. Well, shit. All right, hang on. Let me open it up over here, and I'll drag it over. This is one of the main pictures you see whenever you see DC Universe Online get advertised. Let me go ahead and get this up here. I forgot I'm switching things again. But DC Universe Online came out in 2011. I didn't buy it right away because I found out it was an MMORPG. Okay? And I'm not really into those games. I wasn't at the time. As a matter of fact, my wife and I, Foxy and I, had gone to see some friends of ours down in, I say down in, it's more like a lateral move, to Orlando, Florida. Gary and Dana, both of us, it's kind of the same story as me and Foxy. I graduated with Gary, and she graduated with Dana. I was best friends with Gary in high school. She was best friends with Dana. And later on in life, ran into each other again and got married, right? Well, at this time, we were only a few years into our marriage, and we had this thing we wanted to do. We wanted to see a team in every NFL city. We wanted to go to their stadium, right? And this year we decided to go see the Green Bay Packers with Brett Favre playing for them. That's how long ago this was. They were going to Miami to play the Dolphins. And Rhonda is a huge Miami Dolphins fan. And we knew Gary was out there in Orlando. And Miami's about 4 hours south of Orlando. And so we went and stayed with them for a week. And we went down that day for the game. And at night, what they would do to relax was they both had computers in this room in the back of their house towards the pool. I think it might have been a pool house for the pool, but they had turned it into like a computer room where both of them had a computer and they played World of Warcraft. Their backs to each other and they're playing World of Warcraft and just having a ball. And I'm like, I looked at it and I was like, nah, that's not my kind of game. I actually gave him a bunch of grief about it, And once I played this game right here, DC Universe Online, which is basically World of Warcraft with superheroes, okay, in the DC universe, I had to call him about a year into playing this and go, Gary, I'm sorry I gave you so much grief. I get it now. You know what I mean? Because this is one of those games that never ends. I don't play it as much as I used to. I love it, but I play it just enough to keep my players end game capable, if you understand what I'm saying. A massive multiplayer online game comes out with DLC after DLC after DLC, and all they do is up the numbers, and you're constantly improving your character. So when they started this thing, let's check in the chat real quick. Let's see. Vince says, small sideline trivia, Assassin's Creed Black Flag was the last Assassin's Creed game I played. I have it, and I've never played it. I heard it's fantastic, though. If you're a pirate fan, you need to play it. That's why I bought it. I haven't even pulled the wrapper off of it, I don't think. But I never did like Assassin's Creed because it's a stealth game. That's why I didn't like it that much. Let's see. Tim says he didn't want to be a pirate, but because he was spending a nickel in the joint, he has no choice. I hear you, man. Let's see. Oh yeah, Vince says watch Joe play DC Universe live this coming Monday. Yes, I will be playing with Lunatic. You had to buy that. It was free on for PC. I don't think it was, man. Out the gate, it wasn't free to play. You had to buy a disc for it. And I bought it for Sony PlayStation's what I bought it for. And once we got the game, I was thinking about what superhero I wanted to use, or because you can create your own superhero on it. That's what you do. You can create a guy that looks like Batman, but he's not really Batman. But I said, you know what? How fun would it be to have that character that I created, right? Robert McBriarty, who, by the way, that name is my grandfather's name. That's who the Privateer is named after. How cool would it be to bring him to the future? And what would happen to him if he did? That kind of thing. And that's where he became a superhero, was in that game on DC Universe Online. When I first wrote his first origin story, I took the treatment, and you see here in the... well, if you've ever seen the opening of this game, Lex Luthor basically kills off all the superheroes, and the villains get all killed except for him. And then Brainiac shows up and starts digitizing the entire planet, and he's alive. He gets on a Brainiac ship and he finds some time displacement equipment and comes back before it happens to warn the Justice League about it. And that's the premise of the game. He brings back these things called exobites that give people superhuman abilities, and that's how you become a superhero. You become exposed to the exobites and you become a superhero. So the way I wrote the origin, because I was in a great league, it was called Mythology, and we had a website. We wrote 2 MCU type huge stories. What we did was we had an open role play on our website, and you could write in it, and as long as you didn't kill anybody's character off and you didn't mess with the story before what you wrote, right? Everybody got involved in it. And we collaborated and did some great stories. And what my hope is if this comic book takes off, I'm going to incorporate the Mythology characters into Atmosfere Comics and make a Justice League type or Avengers type book called Mythology. If it takes off. If it because I don't want to do it unless I can pay the guys that help me write all this stuff royalties, because their characters are great. I mean, I'm going to start with the Privateer story and see how that does. But, if it takes off, yeah, I'm going to bring my friends with me. I want to be able to give them some kind of royalties for it, though. Let's see. Once again, it was $50 to buy when I bought it. It went free to play a couple of years later, and it was one of the funnest days of that game, by the way. Oh my God, it was hilarious. When it went free to play, I'll never forget that day. If you guys go back and look in the playlist for this show, you'll see a Mythology reunion, and we talk about it then. It's a panel of about 9 guys that used to run with us back then, including Knock, who you see every Wednesday with me and every Friday with John over on Gaming Night with John. Knock is in there, and that's where he and I met, was in the early days of Mythology. We've been friends for years because of that game. I made some great friends. And matter of fact, the guy that pushed me the most to do this book is a guy named Jimmy Bailey, and he's on. If you watch the whole playlist of this show, he's the guy that was the co-host for this show for a long time, for almost the first year, until he got a job where he couldn't do it anymore. But like, for instance, when I dropped the Zero issue recently, he was the first guy I got a hold of, and he was excited as hell to see it because he is the Privateer's biggest fan, other than my own family. He is the guy that pushed me for years to do this because he loved the story of the Privateer. He thought it was awesome. But anyway, that's the hope of this is that it actually takes off and we can tell these great stories that we wrote, man. I mean, I'm going to tell the Privateer stories. I can do it with other characters, but I really want this to take off so I can actually incorporate Knock into it. His name, Knock, is the character he played on DC Universe Online. He's an immortal being that's been throughout time in different places. His origin story, he actually he was on the ship when the Privateer found his father. He incorporated that into his origin story, you know? So, yeah. I mean, I am so excited to show you guys this stuff one day, man. I really am. But, you know, like I said, if it doesn't take off, that's fine. You know, I'll just tell the stories of the Privateer only. But, like I said, I don't want to do it unless I can pay them something, you know, acknowledge them, you know. Hell, if it took off and they made a movie of it, I would drag them all to the premiere with me, man. I would, because we had so much fun back then. But anyway, that's what I did was I took the treatment and then I incorporated it this way, that Lex Luthor, when he found the displacement equipment, he was testing it and didn't know how to use it and so forth, right? And he ended up on the island that the Privateer had retired on in the Bermuda Triangle, right? And was going to get attacked by a tiger, and the Privateer saves him, and Lex Luthor takes him to the future that way. But whenever I decided to do the comic book, of course, I can't incorporate DC's characters in there, right? So what I did was I changed it to it being an alien, but under the guise of it being an Indian shaman, and he smokes the peace pipe with the Privateer after he saves him from a tiger attack, right? But he doesn't know he's an alien. He thinks he's an Indian shaman, and he smokes the peace pipe with him, and his vision is the history of the United States. And when the Twin Towers come crashing down, he freaks out and wakes up. And when he wakes up, it is September 12th of 2001, the day after 9/11. That's when he wakes up. And, you know, that's the origin of the Privateer. That's how I came up with the superhero story. The whole story, like I said, I've always been intrigued with the American Revolution, so I've always been intrigued with that. But the other characters we've got in the story, you guys, I think you know, the Royal Fox, of course, is involved. And if you go to the Facebook page of the Privateer, right here under the featured section, you'll find the 0-issue link. You'll also find a link to the origins of the Privateer, and you'll find one for the Royal Fox. Both of their origin stories are there. Royal Fox, it's pretty cool. She was raised by a witch. She was this lady who was a witch. Didn't think she'd ever give birth to a child, so she tried to. She had this small fox. I don't know if they're called cubs. I'm not quite sure what a small pup. I guess a pup, because they're more of a canine animal. But she tried to cast a spell to make her human, and she was kind of old, and she didn't have the strength to finish it, and that's how she becomes a humanoid fox. About halfway through, she couldn't make it. So, yeah, you can find all of that on the Facebook page. But anyway, I just thought it would be fun to give you guys an insight into what made me come up with this story. It's pretty much a love of the history of our country and wanting to create a character that people could relate with and see some of that stuff. Let's see. Why did I just get bounced off the page? That's weird. Anyway, we're running up against the clock, so let's go ahead and let's see. Hopefully it's still running. Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's go ahead and get to wrapping things up here, guys. Let me add this up here. Of course, want you to go check out JoesAtmosfere.com. If you look at it, you'll see a video of the making of the Zero issue. If you want to get a commission done, I do pencil sketch portraits. All you have to do is go to the message box down there, and it'll take you straight to my email. All you have to do is just type me a message, and I'll get back to you, and we'll set up whatever you need done. Like I said, I've been doing pencil sketch portraits my entire life, so you guys come check it out. It's got 2 action buttons. One will take you to the Subscribe Star page. This is the place you go if you want to see everything Privateer from the ground up. The plot of the comic books here, the origin stories are here. You can read the written word for $1. You can see all the artwork involved for $5. So you guys come check it out. You can actually look at the pages that I've already plotted and download them and check them out, stem to stern. That's one of my favorite pictures. This is where he's talking to the captain of the Coast Guard ship after the attack. He's kind of consoling him there, but it's got the typical outline of him. That tricorn hat. Get used to that, man. I love the tricorn hat. But anyway, that's all on my Subscribe Star page. You guys go check that out. If you want to support the channel. The other action button you've got there is the one that will take you to the Joe's Atmosfere Comics page. And, of course, it's got a little blurb about the synopsis of the Privateer and where he comes from and all that good stuff. So, and then you go down here and you click on it, and it's the Zero issue of the Privateer. 5 pages, inked. The first 5 pages, no words, no color, none of that. It's just unfinished work to tease and let you know what's going on with the book. That's all that's for. I wish they would have let me put it up there for free, but those pesky capitalists want something for their server space, so they made me put $1 on it. So you guys go check that out if you want to check that out. Let me also let you know what's going on with the streaming channels. Of course, I stream everywhere I can. I was doing it on an X, but they've got some kind of glitch going on right now with X, and all it is a freeze frame when you look at my stuff. So we'll see if we can't get that fixed in the future. I've put word in with them that they need to, get to work on it. But anyway, hopefully I'll be able to stream again on X here pretty soon. But everybody on Rumble and all the rest of you, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. Of course, you're watching Sketching the Privateer. We do this every Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time. Next week, it'll be a Royal Fox edition. We'll work on that Valentine's Day drawing. And maybe I'll read you the Royal Fox's origin again. So you guys tune in next Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time for Sketching the Privateer. Of course, later on tonight, we want you to switch over to Pop Culture Minefield for Gaming Night with John, as Knock and Martin Acosta Santana give John as much grief as possible as he continues his assault on Fallout Tale of Two Wastelands. He's deep into New Vegas right now. So you guys go check that out on Pop Culture Minefield at 8 p.m. Central Time. And then, of course, Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Time, it'll be time for the Brothers Hack the Matrix. Oh, wait. There's one other thing before Sunday that I've got to tell you about. Hang on real quick. I got to put it up here. Did I already download it? Let's see. Yes, I did. Okay. Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Chillin' at the Club number 8 is going to come your way. It is a 600 subscriber edition. It's a celebration of my 600th subscriber. I'm up to 604 now, I think. It's just my appreciation for you guys and supporting the channel. Thank you so much for helping me get there. And let's keep going. We'll get to 700 as soon as we can. But anyway, we're going to have a little celebration. It's just chilling at the club. Only this time I'm going to invite my friends if they want to come by and say hi. during the 600 celebration, we'll do that, and we'll look at some of the history of the channel, man. We'll go look at some of the better stuff we've done. But anyway, you guys come check that out. 8 p.m. Central Time on Saturday, and then Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Time. It's time for the Brothers Hack the Matrix. Everything you need to know about the clown show that is 2025 through today's headlines. Brothers Hack the Matrix every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Time. And then Monday at 10 a.m. Central Time, it's time for Military Monday Drink and Draw as Anima and Martin and Gary talk about a military movie while I'm working on the Privateer. Gary was drawing his comic book during the 2, but he's getting so close to being done, he don't want to give away the ending or anything. So he's doing all his work off stream, and he's taken over doing nothing but the movie. So we'll do a military movie, and I'll work on the Privateer on Monday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time on Pop Culture Minefields channel. Then at 4 p.m. Central Time, it's time for Only Talk and Roll on That 70s Rock Fans channel. And this week, we're going to do the movie Back to the Beach. Now, check out the cast of this movie. Frankie Avalon, Annette Funicello, Pee Wee Herman, Gilligan, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now, you tell me that's not an eclectic lineup for a freaking movie. Back to the Beach. We're going to talk about it on That 70s Rock Fans channel at 4 p.m. Central Time on It's Only Talk and Roll. And then, of course, at 6 p.m. Central Time, it's time for Papa Joe Gamer After Dark. Video games, cocktails, and fails. And, of course, like we've been talking about, this week I'm going to play my favorite video game ever. And Lunatic, another member of Mythology, is going to be there with me as we play DC Universe Online. That's right. The Privateer and his band of bitches is back for the last Monday of the month to play some DC Universe Online. So come check it out at 6:30 p.m. Central Time on Monday. And then, of course, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Time, it's back over on Pop Culture Minefields channel for another drink and draw. Not sure what the movie is. That's the Wednesday matinee show. But I will be working on the Privateer for a couple hours before my show at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. State of the Atmosphere. And if you missed last week's show with our tribute to Terrence Stamp, go back and watch at least the tribute to Terrence Stamp. He's one of my favorites. I love the guy. But we do everything pop culture on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Central Time on State of the Atmosphere. We're going to go over the September slate of movies since it's the last Wednesday of the month. So look forward to that. And, of course, we're going to check in on the girlfriend of the show, Sydney Sweeney. So you guys come check it out on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time on my channel. And then, of course, that brings us right back around to sketching the Privateer on Friday. So let's check out the chat real quick before we get out of here, see what's going on. Besides the hardest working guy in the business, handing out all those links. Let's see. I'll buy that for $1. Yeah, talking about my comic book. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I really do. I wish I could have given it to you for free. And here eventually I might just put it on the... Well, no. On a Subscribe Star, I have to put it up for money. So, no. You're going to have to pay at least $1 to see it. Okay. Let's see. I still read that as Robert McBeardy. Yeah, it's McBriarty, bud. I know it sounds crazy, but and I don't think I've ever seen that many vowels all together. But yeah, that's it's McBriarty, not McBreedy, or to be confused with McGreedy or McBeardy. No, that's not it. It's McBriarty. Rumble was a no-go today. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot to see. I get this one sometimes I stumble. I'll do a replay on Rumble though. We'll get it up there. Let's see. Only 6 months late for Valentine's Day. Yeah, well, her birthday's coming up, man. I started. I'm gonna have it done by Valentine's Day next year. You know, but yeah, I think we're gonna work on that next time. Yep. Okay, so. He says like, share, comment, and subscribe. But the main thing, let's see. Boo. Tubi TV took out the Voyeur from their showings. Oh, the Voyeur? Oh, the Sydney Sweeney Voyeur. Ooh, I've heard that's pretty spicy, that show. But anyway, by the way, if you want to see the Scarecrow of Romney Marsh, I think it's in parts on YouTube. I'm not quite sure. Rhonda found me a disc on eBay, but I'm pretty sure it's not even a Disney published DVD. I think it's a bootleg. I mean, it's hard to find that show. It really is. But look, guys, haven't seen it. Yeah. Hey, we'll find it eventually. Yeah, like the pirates, you can always sail the high seas. But anyway, look, guys, I want to thank you guys for being here. If you ever get a chance, watch the Scarecrow of Romney Marsh. Watch The West Wing. These are the things that inspired me to do this very patriotic story about a superhero. It's my version of Captain America. I'm not going to even lie about it. It's my version of Captain America, but I made him a guy from the American Revolution so that he could be a true Captain America, right? You notice my cosplay jacket back there, right over my shoulder right there. It's got the Colonial 13 stars, right? But anyway, look, guys, I want to thank you guys for being here. I know, I don't think he's put it up there, but I know what Vince would like to tell you guys. He would like to say, cheerio, guys and gals. Stay nerdy and have yourself a great weekend. And you know what I'm going to tell you. Yeah, there it is. See? Did I quote it correctly or what? See? Tell me I don't know my guy, Vince. Thanks a lot, Vince. I appreciate all your help, buddy. I want to thank you guys for being here. And until we see you again, I want you guys to keep on keeping on. God bless.